me there, Stephen. I selected the wrong intro. I was doing reviews.
You're a silly sausage,
I'm a silly sausage, a silly prick.
Hello and welcome on into this Friday's edition of Entertainment News here at MBE. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us here on our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel, our Twitch feed, and of course our Spotify podcast when I eventually upload it, that is.
Yes.
For some reason, John, when we do live shows,
there.
it takes 24 hours for this to process.
Yes.
Don't know why.
I think it's because it's very long. And then you'll have the closed captions getting
so as you can imagine, there's
a
big waiting list waiting on Spotify for the next episode to pop up. So
competing
sorry,
with Joe
guys.
Rogan here.
Yeah. I wish, because I would be telling a certain company where to go if we were at that level.
Yes.
But we'll get into that.
I'm not at that level, and I will be telling
in 25 days, John, I'll be saying a lot of things. Believe me, there might even be a specific video for it, but
I've already got the title, but maybe a little bit.
You might have a thumbnail as well.
Inflammatory.
Yeah, we'll get there. I'll see you.
It's a lovely little beer.
When I get there. John, we're talking about Shah Rukh Khan's latest movie, Jawan, and obviously opening day reactions are already out there. Dropped, what was it? Yesterday it came out? Was it 2 days ago?
No, it was today.
Was it today?
It was today.
Indian Times, it was yesterday, I suppose.
Yeah.
But as you're watching this, probably...
They've probably seen it about 26 hours ago.
Yeah. But John, we're just going to talk about this. It's this coming in from Times of India, and this is the headline and obviously the thumbnail. I'm just going to read this one because it's a positive one, and it's fantastic. It's good to see that it's getting good feedback already.
I've got Rotten Tomatoes up, so we will.
Kangana Ranaut, John, who I'm not familiar with.
I wasn't until I searched her up. I have to say she's doing good for 36.
Yeah.
Just good looking bird, as you like to say here.
Yeah. Okay. I've not seen her. Is that her there?
Yeah, I mean, I think I put her on the thumbnail, to be fair. Kangana, I'll bring her up.
Yeah, well, I'll just read this, John, while you bring it up for my eyes, I suppose, because everyone else knows who she is.
Just ignore that one. That's like fucking
Angie Watts from EastEnders.
Yeah, that's people. Yeah. What have you done today to make me feel proud? You're never too late to try.
That's more like it, yeah. Heather Small.
I'll go with that.
36,
36. Looks decent.
Very well, yeah. John, she has heaped praise on superstar Shah Rukh Khan after his film Jawan saw an unprecedented response on the first day of its release. She took to her Instagram stories and called SRK the cinema god that India needs, and also congratulated the entire team of Jawan. In her long note, Kangana wrote, from being the ultimate lover boy of the 90s to a decade-long struggle again to reinvent his connection with his audience, to his late 40s to mid-50s, and ultimately rising as the quintessential Indian mass superhero at the age of 60 almost, is nothing short of super heroic even in real life. She further added, I remember the time when people wrote him off and mocked his choices, but his struggle is a masterclass for all artists enjoying long careers, but most reinvent and re-establish. SRK is the cinema god that cinema needs, not just for his hugs or his dimples, but for some serious world-saving as well. Smiley face emojicons. Bowing down to your perseverance, hard work, bowing down, to your perseverance, hard work, and humility, King Khan at I am ISRK. There you go, John.
That's a very long quote. I've never seen a quote quite that long.
It's not the kind of thing I would do as a graphic for my work.
No.
I think I'd get into trouble for doing that. But and I don't think it's okay on Instagram. If you did that on Facebook, they'd pull it right away because they don't like that. They don't like when you do that with images, lots of text.
5 crore, Stephen.
Yeah.
Shall we look up what's 65?
I think we should, John. I think we should talk about how it's doing. This is what it's all about, isn't it? We're talking about open day.
Crore in pounds.
How it's doing. Wow.
No.
Surely not.
No. Nope. Let's go into a currency converter website and do it properly this time, shall we?
That was bigger numbers than Avatar.
I think that's rupee. That's Indian rupee. How many crore is in a rupee? I don't know. We're going down a rabbit hole here that I can't answer. I'm going to do my absolute best here. 65 crore in rupees. And let's see what it tells us here. 67. What? What sort of currency are you trying to peddle? to the world
That's
here.
pound sterling into Indian rupee. Is it not the other way
it's
about?
65 crore into rupees. I'm trying to work out how many
I think that's your little
rupees.
converter thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
How much is 65 crore? 650 million rupee. Okay.
Wow.
So now we've got a base
Yeah.
from which we can try and work out. So
Hang in there, folks. We're working it out. But yeah, for everyone in the podcast, John is typing furiously into a search engine.
It's
at the
about
moment.
£6.2 million so far in the opening day,
That's
which is
decent,
not phenomenal
It's
in terms
decent,
of
though.
Western numbers
Yeah.
that we are used to. But yeah, I mean, it's all scales, doesn't it? Obviously, the currency,
Economy
cost of
comes
living, the
into-
economy,
yeah.
it's all different. So, I mean, you then try and blow that up in a Western scale, it probably is about 100 fucking
Yeah.
million or something. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's doing very well, Stephen. It's opened well, it's getting huge success.
John, you thought you made a mistake the other day when you're talking about Vijay Sethupathi. He is in this movie, isn't he? It was mentioned there.
Is he?
It was mentioned. If you scroll right down, there you go. He is in it.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
playing
Talpathi
the villain.
Vijay is just a cameo in it. But he is.
Maybe
You,
not a
you were
villain.
doubting yourself the other day about it. You were saying, no, it's
Because I
Talpathi
remember,
Vijay.
I remember Vijay Sethupathi getting praised with Shah Rukh Khan,
Yeah, yeah.
and he was blown away by it. And then it broke a couple of months later that he was going to work with Shah Rukh in a movie, and it now transpires that movie is Jawan. This is
Yeah.
many years back now, and I remember us discussing it at the time. It must be an incredible honour for Vijay Sethupathi to work with a guy he looks up to, a guy who's been there, done it in the industry, is a pan-Indian superstar, worldwide renowned film actor. What if there's no any other kind of actors, is there? Well, theatrical actor, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then you've got the sort of the Archies or whatever the fuck it's called, the Archers, the radio voice actors. So yeah, he's a film actor. I'll take that back right away.
John, apparently Deepika Padukone's extended cameo is getting huge praise as well.
That's because it's Deepika Padukone, Stephen.
Yeah.
Anytime she's on the screen, you're going to get huge praise because she looks, again, tremendous. I keep saying it. Ranveer Singh.
Yeah.
That's his name, isn't it?
Ranveer, yeah.
Ranveer Singh, you lucky bastard.
Ranveer's from the series we just watched, isn't it? We
That's
watched
Shahid
series.
Kapoor.
Yeah, Shahid, sorry, yeah.
Ranveer Singh.
Ranveer Singh.
He was
is that,
in
is
Padma
Deepika married to him? Yeah,
married
right,
to
okay.
Ranveer Singh.
Yeah.
She was the husband of Shahid Kapoor and Padma though. Ranveer Singh
That's what
was
I'm
playing
thinking.
a loud and
Yeah.
trying to lure her away.
Yeah.
And I remember us discussing at the time, that's mental there, husband and wife
Yeah.
in real life. And Shahid Kapoor's the sort of third spoke in the wheel, if you like.
Yeah.
Stephen, we've got some reviews here.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is
know
what
if you want to delve into
I
this.
think we
'cause-
should, John. Do you want to take one each or?
Yes,
Yeah.
we shall. What I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to rejig the capture here and move it over a bit.
Right. Well, if you're doing
Simon
that,
Abrams.
Simon
Roger
Abrams. Yeah. Yeah.
A
Yeah.
renowned
Website.
Western critique.
Yeah. Jawan will probably delight Cannes established fans and maybe initiated. I can't even say it.
Uninitiated.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's 2% fucking joke.
Yes.
Yours too. It's the heat.
Yes,
If
it is.
only because he's comfortably playing the hits now with somewhat greater conviction and a little more polish. Not Polish, polish.
Ja, pois. Zabrówka.
He's a little
Kurva
Polish.
match. Spierdari Chipo. Subra Gupta, the Indian Express, fashioned as an unabashed massy entertainer, Jawan slips in strong political messaging at every opportunity, making it a film, which is very much of the moment. Yeah, I mean, political messaging, Stephen. I spoke about this after Patan came out. People were getting little digs in at Shah Rukh, saying he was wading into the political storm.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I can't remember the finer intricacies of whether he was for one argument or the other, but people were attacking him
Yeah.
regardless. I remember it. 3.5 out of 5, 2.5 out of 4. It's average to above average, isn't it, so
Yeah.
far? And that seems to be something you're seeing across the board as you get down here.
Mike
Not got under-
McCahill from
Yeah.
The Guardian. He says,
Good to see Western
yeah, John,
critiques going in and watching this.
Yeah.
And
I think the Western ones are on the left.
yeah,
and the ones are on the right. Yeah.
But it's good to see
Yeah.
that we have got that attention. And that, again, it shows you how much of a sort of influence that Shah Rukh's got in the world.
Yeah, and obviously focus as well, John. People have been waiting for this film, obviously, as well, in the Western world just as much. Jawan will prove no more enduring than Patan in the Cannes Pantheon, but it's a semi-fascinating display of star power and a rollicking, if bumpy, Friday night ride. That's what I'm looking for.
I actually think I'm going to go and see this in the theatres.
I think
I want to see it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to as well, John.
I'm intrigued by it, and I want to see this guy on a big screen with a booming surround sound.
Yeah.
Anupama Chopra probably butchered that, I usually do. Jawan runs for 170 minutes and the incessant noise and fury becomes exhausting. What you're doing is a film critique if you're fucking angered and sort of, what is the word I'm looking for?
Irritated.
You're irritated by incessant sound and fury. It's fucking cinema.
Yeah.
Even drama-driven cinema has incessant sound and fury at times in a theatre.
I know, John, this isn't as balls to the wall action so apparently as Patan. I get that. Patan was a all action. It takes you back all to the 1980s, early 90s sort of action films that we all remember and loved. Whereas obviously this movie is drama driven. There's more dialogue, acting, as well as obviously good action sequences as well, but you've got to expect some soundscape in this type of movie, this type of genre.
Yeah.
Granted, this kind of film, any kind of film, for instance, John, Dune, which isn't really an action film, it is a heavy drama, theatrical, sci-fi thriller, but the actual soundscape of that was very, very loud at times in the theatre. And I remember it, John, not just the sounds, and I'm not talking about soundtrack or score, just the sort of sounds within the film.
I remember
and I loved it.
Bagpipes moment.
Yep.
That was incredible when they were being welcomed down to Arrakis.
Yeah, so, for anyone to get in to say, it becomes exhausting.
You're in the wrong profession.
You're in the wrong
Maybe go and start
theatre.
reviewing fucking plants or something and change your career. But she does go on to say an interesting thing here though, Steve, which ties into what we discussed previously in regards to multiple characters. This pretty much confirms he is playing multiple variations. But Shah Rukh, especially the older version, keeps the film from becoming a slog. With greying hair and cigar, he summons a formidable swagger. Does that confirm, especially the older version? Yeah. Maybe not, it's just him going through life, maybe.
Referring to the real life actor has been old, the older version of what they remember. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what, you may be right actually, but Shah Rukh, especially the older version, I don't know, he's not got grey hair though.
Yeah.
I've no idea.
Yeah, Jimmy Cage. We know Jimmy.
Yes, we do. Jimmy
we
is
don't
a German.
know. We watch him. Yeah, maybe Austrian. I'm not sure.
Is he? Is he Austrian?
A big Indian cinema fan. Great channel as well. Jimmy, connect with us, please.
Jimmy does it different to us, though. He actually reviews the movies like we used to do.
Yeah,
and that's how he doesn't.
He's a smart man.
So he doesn't get
7 out of 10, John. Jimmy's given this.
Same, isn't it? As a 3.5 out of 5, isn't it?
Yeah, he says Jawan is just a crazy stunner. The big SRK show that has a little bit of everything, but doesn't really do any of it super well. Still, it's enough for an above average mass entertainer. So there you are.
I love that Indian cinema and just. Culture refers to these movies as mass movies.
Yeah.
They're mass pleasers, they're mass entertainers, mass videos, something that's going to tickle the fancy of a great many people. Saibal Chatterjee, packed with all the ingredients that you would expect in a high-octane action film, Jawan is a strikingly meta vehicle in which a star communicates directly with his fan base and holds forth on themes that are crying out to be addressed. Steve, and that's why I think the inclusion of Telepathy VJ in a cameo is ideal, because this is what this man does down in this. I'm having a mare tonight. I'm flinging in some Scottish slang words, and I've had one, not even finished my bottle of Corona.
Yeah,
it's the heat again. That's what he does so well, Telepathy.
Yeah,
he uses these mass films, crowd pleasing films, big action spectacles with set pieces and whatnot, as a vehicle to explore societal issues and political issues. And he doesn't hold back. He does not hold his punches.
No.
So him working with also Shah Rukh in a cameo role where he's doing the exact same thing in his movie, it's almost like Telepathy personified. So it's great to see him pop. Yeah. That's why I want to see it as well, just to see VJ Sethupathi. I want to see VJ Sethupathi as well. Yeah. Joseph VJ. Yeah. Seeing him appearing in this movie, man, what it's going to be like. Can he get anywhere near the Salman Khan cameo in Patan?
Probably not. Depending on, obviously, I would say audiences, John. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Because that's established characters, isn't it?
Yeah,
Multiple
well,
movies.
there's that as well, and I think obviously that I think just where they're from as well, plays a lot into it as well. But I think we talked about it maybe about a year or two ago, talking about Joseph Fiji, talking about, do you think he'll ever, not cross over to the divide or whatever, but would he branch out from what he's doing, and that, obviously the studios he's always been with and always sort of performs with, and this could be the sort of change in his career now. He's approaching 50, isn't he, if he's not already?
I think he's 48, 49,
yeah. I think he's a couple of years older than me, so he's about 49.
Yeah.
And this is probably just the right time, I think, to get into that sort of next stage of his career. And you see that throughout the world with actors, that maybe start off in a specific genre and then they get to a certain age, they realise they can't.
Like your Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
What's Tom Cruise doing?
Yeah, I mean, he's a one-off, but DiCaprio's, the likes of that. Pitt. Ryan Reynolds, they've had to, leave that sort of genre behind, the sort of ones that they did in the past, to sort of continue doing what they do. And it's not any different, I suppose, for the likes of Joseph Vijay, who he'll not want to do action films for the rest of his days, and he never started off as an action film.
He was a romantic. He was a pretty boy as well.
And we watched, obviously, the crossover. I think it was Ruth that might have picked out the actual film where
Tina Malaya, I think it was.
He changed into an action hero. And that'll come to a point as well where it'll become more dramatical as well. I think that's just the sort of natural sort of cycle of acting, if they want to obviously continue doing the art. But John, Renuka Vayara, I'm not really sure. Vayavari, yeah. You will be reminded of Money Heist, Squid Game, The Dark Knight Rises, Old Hindi Songs, and The Lion King. Wow, there's a collection. But topping it all is a heady mix of SRK, Atlee, Tatka. So there you are, 3.5 out of 5.
Money Heist, Squid Game, The Dark Knight Rises, and The Lion King.
Yeah.
With old Hindi songs flung in for good measure.
Basically a bit of everything.
What a concoction that is. That's like a fucking Harry Potter potion.
Yeah.
It somehow turns into... what's the luck potion called? I can't remember. It was.
You're asking me about Harry Potter?
Half-Blood Prince, wasn't it? Liquid Luck.
Yes, it was.
Liquid Luck, I think it was. Professor Slughorn gave them a challenge. Harry won it because he was cheating using Severus Snape's old battered potions book from back in the day.
I think Renuka does look like a Harry Potter fan.
Don't know what that means.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm a Harry Potter fan.
I like the way you said that. It's almost like don't larry me.
Devesh Sharma.
I'm a Harry Potter fan.
I'm a Harry Potter fan.
Don't larry me.
I'm feeling an enormous urge to strike you, Floozy. Jawan is SRK's vehicle throughout, and the actor gives his all to the film from the first frame to the last. Well, that's kind of what you expect when he's the poster boy.
Yeah.
I don't quite grasp what you're trying to convey there, Devesh. Jawan is SRK's vehicle throughout. It doesn't make much sense to me. It's his film. Of course it's his vehicle. What other vehicle is he going to use? Doesn't make any sense to me, but okay. 4 out of 5. Yeah. Rated it highly.
Yeah.
Nandini.
I mean, you take... you take SRK out of the film, then it's not really going to make really big waves, really. No. Anywhere. It could have a good story. It might do okay.
Well, I did see Atlee, Stephen, outside I think a theatre, being questioned about Jawan and the potential success, and he says it's all down to SRK.
Yeah,
it's all SRK.
You got to be honest, and the director's been honest here that he needed that big name to sort of attract attention to this project, and that he got it in the biggest form possible, didn't he? So
I think when you're doing a movie of this ilk, you require a box office star.
Yeah, it must be
down south. You need a rocking star Yash, you need a Telepathy, you need an Amir Khan, you need a Salman Khan, you need a horrific Roshan, you need a Shah Rukh. That's always a callback I like to do. Because I was calling him a horrific for about 2 years, and I realised no, it's horrific.
Yeah.
The H is silent.
You actually Googled the sound of it, didn't
you? I did, yeah.
I did
that today as well for Amish. Turns out it's Amish.
Amish, yeah.
Amish, yeah.
We'll continue, John, or do you want
weird
to...
fucking dwarfish fucks.
Do you want to just continue on doing that? I don't know how many we've got left.
There's four more.
Well, we'll do the four.
Do you want me to do Akil? Because he's the Debbie Downer here.
Yeah,
He's rated it rotten.
He looks like your man from
he looks like
Aspirants.
Yeah, he looks like Ablesham. Abelash. Havishek and Abelash together, Ablesham. Just to be clear, Jitendra Kumar and Naveen Kasturia are not the same people. I understand that. He also looks like Abelash meets Louis Theroux. There you go. My money don't jiggle, wiggle, wiggle. He's not busy. When he's not busy, I hate it when they do this. I fucking detest this. When they do interviews and they put shit in brackets as if the person's not saying it, and then you read it in your mind's eye and you think to yourself, that does not make any fucking sense without the word in the bracket.
Yeah.
So how can you speak this sentence and not?
It's almost like he didn't actually say the word when, so we're adding it in to make it make sense.
It's his review.
Just put it in.
It's his review. Akil, it's your review, mate. You either said when or you didn't.
Make up your mind.
That's that already here. You're putting parentheses with 3 dots as well, you fuck. When he's not busy addressing the viewer, Jawan tends to reduce Shah Rukh Khan's presence to a collection. I love how he puts Shah Rukh in brackets as if we don't know who Khan is. To a collection of cool looking shots. Any culture that worships individuals and excuses their faults, be it an actor or a politician, is asking for trouble. Come on, mate. Any culture that worships individuals, that's every culture. You sausage. What are you talking about? Time memoriam, we've had people worshipping individuals. What are you talking about? Back to Genghis Khan, Julius Caesar.
We have to make
Jesus.
We have to make it clear, though, John, that there is full reviews there. So there is obviously I would like to think a well thought out, balanced review.
Akil Aurora is trying to be a sort of enlightened individual speaking about greater societal issues. I'm above that. I don't worship guys like Shah Rukh Khan. I'm here to review this movie, and I'm going to completely take his presence, his role, his stardom out of it.
Yes.
And I'm going to pick it apart because I can.
Remove my fanboyism.
I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a shill. I'm not a stan for Shah Rukh.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
He's got his own website.
Right, though.
He's got his own website, John. So that says quite a bit.
I've not seen the movie.
That's like you have in johnwalsh.com. Would you have that?
No, because it'd probably be took by that Canadian chat show host.
He always wanted that show called the John Walsh Show.
Hated that shit because I was in secondary school when that was doing its thing, and I used to take pelters for that.
Yeah.
So no, I wasn't a fan of John Walsh and his show.
So people in your school knew about it.
Oh, they knew about it, yeah. Oh, yeah. At least I'm not like some fat Genghis, so sit down.
David Tusing from the national UAE, United Arab Emirates, I would assume that is. Their national. It's not our national. Jawan is thoroughly entertaining and sits in the same vein as spy thriller Patan, only amplified multiple times over. Well, that kind of puts to bed what I was saying earlier, doesn't it? Because that's what we were told. We were told that it was more going to be dialogue heavy than Patan. But at the end of the day, I'm not saying there's not going to be a lot of entertaining moments in there, John.
We did discuss that, though, didn't we? That this is his sort of movies, the movies he's using as a springboard to come back from this 4-year hiatus break. And he's not going to go into like some stuffy, boring human condition, serious, snobby movie. He will eventually. He will eventually. Yeah. But he wants to come in and make things as easy as possible for himself before he then delves into other genres. Jesus Christ, nearly knocked that beer over.
Build up his IP.
Yes. And he's doing that with...
I would never say that. I just listen to fucking John compares all that.
His IP, yeah. I think of IP, I think of video games.
Yeah.
I don't think when you think of movies, it's
but that's what they do, isn't it? It's all about building that reputation back up again, you know. Not that it was in tatters or anything like that, but I think in terms of obviously the films he was doing previous to 4 years ago were just not well received as they once were. And I think it's just, as you say, it's playing that sort of safe bet, you know, doing Patan, action film. You're not really going to do anything controversial. I know there was some sort of political undertones in it, but it's a safe film to do. Most people like action films, and you know, I'm sure once we go to see Jawan as well, John, we'll have that sort of clearer picture in our heads. Yeah, it was a kind of safe film, perhaps. Again, but
he's playing
as
five
David says,
incarnations.
amplified, multiple times.
He's playing 5 different characters in it potentially. Then that's
a lot,
more complex than Patan.
Yeah, he's saving the production company a lot of money on other actors.
Yeah, she's doing an Eddie Murphy from the late 90s.
The flumps.
It was good at first, but it got worse and worse and worse. Someone should have told him he ended in 88. We coming to America. That was the peak, and it was also the nadir.
Bowfinger was good. Bowfinger.
Yeah, to be fair, he is good at it. It's just the other cretins around about him.
Yeah.
Sukanya Verma from Rediff.com, clearly not written off Reddit. Beyond its comic book entertainment chronicling the Rediff.
Somebody with a lisp. I've done
Reddith. Beyond its comic book entertainment chronicling the age-old war between good and evil, Jawan springs a real surprise when it boldly and directly points fingers at the ineffective government and appeals to recognise, I would imagine that means the power of the finger and vote. Okay, so it's doing the finger and the vote.
Yep. Pull my finger.
It strikes me, Stephen, that what's coming through from these reviews, at least some of them anyway, is that although it is a sort of blockbuster, superstar helmed movie with set pieces and stuff like that, it's still trying to do, like I say, what a Joseph Vijay would do in the south of India, where it's using that platform, that sort of influence to point the finger at the government and maybe some ills that are in society just now. And look, I always commend actors like Shah Rukh who are comfortable in life, who have made their money, can just sit back and see their days out with no controversy. I commend them when they say, no, fuck that, I'm going to use my platform and I'm going to pick holes and everything. It's why I'm such a big fan of Lewis Hamilton, not just for his driving ability, and also Seb Vettel, because these are guys who have used their platform, their stardom, their immense success, and they're not resting in their laurels. They're trying to level everybody up around about them. They're trying to get inclusivity. They're trying to help people in pointing a spotlight at issues in society. I respect people like that who don't just disappear under a rock. They use their platform for good. So fair play to Shah Rukh.
Jan Thara, John. I'm not sure.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, her name does ring a bell.
I'm not going to get it.
And I'm just wondering why her name's almost, well, it is top billing, isn't it, on this website?
Yeah,
it's a strange one. I don't know if it's maybe just order of appearance. Sometimes they do that, don't they?
I'll search her up just now.
I do recognise the name. But
I recognise her face.
John, it's just coming in at under 3 hours, which is pretty standard for an Indian movie anyway. And pretty standard, I think. Even the West is coming around to these longer films, aren't they? Eventually.
She was in Biggle, which we didn't see.
Yeah.
She was in that Godfather movie that we reacted to, but I don't think we've seen either.
Ah, right, okay.
A little bit of a theme.
Yeah, the
developing here.
Yeah, probably. It's probably a trailer reaction we know from. Yeah. Yeah.
Shivaji the boss.
Don't know it. I'm saying don't know. We probably reacted to it a while ago. I don't know.
And it's mostly older ones after that, to be fair. But she does have a recognisable face.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the face, yeah.
It's definitely the face.
Yeah.
But sadly, no, I don't know anything she's been in, except from Jawan. But yeah, Stephen, come back to this, man. I think the question is, does he deserve to be put in this pedestal and called a cinematic god, a cinema god that India requires? Well, we spoke about it 3 days ago, whenever it was, Monday. 4 days ago. It's the heat. And Steve, we spoke about the pandemic a couple of years ago. The sort of ills and the sort of I was about to say tribulation. That's not even a word. The ills of
tribulations.
Is it a word? Trial and tribulation. Yeah, it was a word. Fucking having a mare today. Forgetting English.
That's why I'm
saying it, but then I'm also right. Then I'm saying no, I'm not right.
John, at least you can read. I'm seeing words there I can't even pronounce.
We spoke about it 4 days ago anyway. The North was struggling during the pandemic. The South was trailblazing, earning money, carrying the box office of India on its back, if you like, metaphorical back. Now we've got guys like Shah Rukh coming back out from the shadows, out from breaks, and they're carrying these movies to huge numbers. Yeah. So he is the cinema god that the whole of India needs. We need more guys like him, like your Prabhasis, like your rocking star Yashis, to come out, lead these big movies, and help the sort of exhibitors, the theatre companies and cinemas, and push the industry
try and
level up.
claw it back. Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
Because I mean, these companies are still struggling. We've seen it with AMC over here fighting liquidation off because of the sort of ripple effect of the pandemic. Cineworld is obviously a sister company. It's under the umbrella of AMC. These companies are still in trouble 2-3 years out, so they need all the help they can get. So absolutely, as
from
a
Western
god
perspective, John, that's why we need the Scorseses, we need the Chris Nolans, we need these directors to keep. I don't want to say churning out because that sounds like they've not got any effort in them. But what I mean is they have to keep making movies every couple of years.
And we need Greta Gerwig's people doing interesting different movies like Barbie, because that helps the box office and it helps
the
bring
recovery
these companies
process
back from the brink.
Yeah, exactly.
So yes, I agree with Ranaut. Kangana Ranaut.
Just
Ranaut.
before,
I'm calling her Ranaut.
Have you got?
That's not how you say it. I'm calling her French.
John, have you got anything else to say on the subject?
No, because I've not seen the film, Stephen, but I'm glad to see the initial reactions are in, the reviews are in, and they're positive in the main. We've had a couple of Debbie Downers, but in the main,
then,
like
John,
it.
they're not out and out criticising the film or anything like that. It's really just...
Well, they're just being hipsters and trying to...
Not their cup of tea, basically. It's not saying the film is bad, it's just not their cup of tea. But John... I
just don't want to watch up these sort of singular figures in society.
Basically, I got to see this film before you and I don't really care for it because I'm a critique. John, I'm going to say this though, we will be seeing this film in cinema at some point over the next coming weeks, and I think probably it wouldn't be a bad idea to do a review on that. Obviously not a watch along, but to go back to the old fashioned way of doing reviews and just chatting about it, but maybe something out of theatre or something as well, just an additional thing.
What's scary though, Stephen?
Yeah.
That fan zone full pelt.
Yeah. But it's circulating your breath, isn't it?
Yeah, but my legs are actually sweating. My arms are sweating. I can feel myself. I'll not be able to get off this fucking seat.
You're going to be like a guy at the X-Men.
Yeah, I'm going to just disappear into water.
Yeah, turn into
it's
water.
It's incredibly fucking warm in this room.
We're going to move on then, because it is very warm, as you said.
What's we're going to move on just now?
We're going to move on to our next topic, John, and it's all about Rocket Raccoon, Baby Rocket, and the Baby Rocket spin-off.
Baby Rocket, do-do-do-do, Baby Rocket, do-do-do-do.
Coming in from Screen Rant, Phase 5 director wants Marvel to make the MCU's Baby Rocket spin-off. This is director Kirsten Lepore. Wants to tell Baby Rocket's story, especially after his past was revealed in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'll just read a little bit about this, John, then we can get into what we think about this. The character's well-developed backstory may be partly why I Am Groot director Kirsten Lepore suggested Rocket Raccoon as another Marvel character who could get the spin-off treatment. When asked by comicbook.com about what other characters might work for the digital short form of I Am Groot series, Lepore first thought of Rocket. She said, "My brain, of course, goes to Guardians first. What would a Rocket one look like? You know, Baby Raccoon stories." Yeah, I mean, I suppose it would work in that sort of short form, very similar to I Am Groot series, if that's your thing. My fear is that it might give them ideas to do a backstory film.
Yeah.
Which I don't want. We were mentioning it, John, just before we came on air with this topic, that I don't like films that don't have stakes. And if they're going to go down the road of doing a film like that, they need to introduce engaging characters, additional characters to the film that will have stakes. That's the only way it works. You mentioned, obviously, Solo, John, where there was nothing at stake.
There wasn't.
Absolutely nothing. The only one I sort of feared for was the female character. I'm trying to remember her name now.
Kira.
Yeah, Kira. Yeah. With obviously Paul Bettany's character. That was probably the most sort of
forget his name.
Tense scene. Yeah, I can't remember, John, but you know, it doesn't really work on the whole. 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work, because you know, we've seen the backstory in Guardians 3 as well, so I don't know. I thought it worked well with that because it was sort of filling in the blanks that we were kind of suggesting in Guardians 2, and we got what we wanted. So why would we want more? Even in a short form, I just don't. I'm talking myself out of this. I just don't want to see it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I presume Kirsten Lepore's a female. They never do.
Yeah. She said, yeah.
She said that's fine then, so that's the pronoun she's accepting. I don't
I
want
know
to
what
get
it's
in
like to be dead,
yes, very good.
Makes me feel like I've never been born, yeah.
I think some people wish they weren't born, the way society's going these days. Just fucking crazy. Stephen, she's hinting that it's Raccoon stories, like I Am Groot, which was, I think, a short series of 4 or 5 stories, very short form, 20-minute episodes, I think, animated. So it's a sort of light-hearted way to delve into these backstories. The trouble is with I Am Groot, Groot is... I'm not actually seen I Am Groot, so I can't... I'm maybe talking nonsense here. And if you have seen it, correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure Groot didn't have anywhere near as sinister or dark a origin story as Rocket Raccoon has had. And we've already explored it in Guardians 3 brilliantly. You don't really have to see every single milestone in this character's life until he meets Peter Quill.
Yeah.
And Groot, you don't need it. Sometimes less is more. And you mentioned Han Solo. He's the prime example, Stephen. Having that bit of mystery surrounding a character where the audience can fill in the gaps.
It adds to the character, John.
It does, but when you first meet him, you don't know what this guy is. And obviously when he does shoot Greedo first, which he did, then that's after we've seen him speak with Obi-Wan.
That does my head in that phrase though, Han shot first.
Yeah.
In the original film, it was only Han that shot. It wasn't that Greedo was ready to shoot. So it was just Han shot,
but that
not
added,
Han shot first.
But that added darkness to that character, Stephen, and you didn't know where he was going to go when he did tag along with Fluke and obviously Ben on this story, on this sort of journey. It opened up the post.
10,000? Can almost buy our own ship for
But
that.
who's going to fire, kid? You bet I could. I'm not such a bad pilot. But
I wish you were real.
It opened up the door for that character to potentially backstab them at some point in the movie. He was morally ambiguous. You didn't know the full details. You then, if you're a young kid now watching it and you watch the entire backstory, you've humanised Han Solo from the get-go. Whereas that journey happened over the course of 3 movies originally. Even in Empire Strikes Back, he fucks off. He leaves with the money. And you're thinking, right, he's just a vagabond, a scruffy-looking airfarer. He's away. And then he comes back and redeems himself at the end again. Comes back. I'm thinking about No Hope. To be fair, Empire Strikes Back, he's there the whole time. Until he gets frozen in carbonite. So it's a journey that you go on with the character. This is why you don't have to fill in backstories. You don't need to know every tiny detail. And we've already seen it done perfectly, Stephen, with Rocket. In the 3 Guardians movies, you meet him, he's this wisecracking, tough facade character. He meets up with the Guardians. They're this strange bedfellow sort of group. And they've all got their problems and they've got... what do you call it again?
Baggage.
No, yeah, but there's another term that's relating to a cake, something with a soft tart. A cupcake with a soft centre. Soft tart. Oh, maybe it's a tart. I don't know everything. This is why you don't need to know every information about Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah.
He may be a little tart. We're never going to find out.
A hungry heart. Yeah.
Also, we go on that journey throughout Guardians, and we just peel back layers and layers and layers. You get to hear about what happened, and then you see the sort of payoff in Guardians 3.
Even the backstory in Guardians 3 didn't go too deep into it either. It just suggested where he came from. You didn't have to see where he came from. He was created. Obviously the treatment of all the animals as well wasn't explored in great depth. The way that they executed the storytelling was enough. You don't have to have everything explained to you to understand the backstory. And I think they handled it well. If you're going to do a spin-off of the backstory, it's, as you said, it's shown too much, and sometimes it takes something away from the character.
It does.
Which is ironic that you're trying to build the character and fill out the character more. It has a negative reaction. It has a negative response. People then are not as connected to the character because they're getting everything explained to them and re-represented to them as well. And I don't like when they do that. They did it with Luke Skywalker. They re-represented this character without filling in the blanks.
Yeah.
For that 30 years, and it was jarring. This is like the sort of reverse engineering of that, where they're telling you too much.
That's another example.
So you've got to find that balance.
Prequel trilogy is another example of filling in backstory, and it loses something. because you've got this half-told story. You come in the middle part, you don't know what's really going on with these characters. You then get back. Parts of it's good, but parts of it...
Yeah, I mean, Anakin's turn that didn't really affect me.
No.
Order 66 executed affected me more because it was something I didn't know.
Yeah.
That actual initial turn, just the way everything just flipped, with one order, that shocked me more than Anakin's turn. Don't get me wrong, Anakin's downfall was still shocking to watch on screen. Obviously in Mustafa.
Yeah.
The last sort of parting of ways between mentor and Padawan was still good to watch things like that, but you knew the end result, and you're more interested to see how does this fit with the original trilogy. How are they going to fit this in and sort of give us that backstory and make it fit?
What I will say though, Stephen, is the Emperor's backstory in those movies was actually a way. That's an example of it working really well.
Yeah.
Because you see the manipulation of this guy and the development of him. And that does work.
By the time you get to see him in The Empire Strikes Back, his first appearance, and you got to go back to 1980, or obviously if you're the special editions kids, I think you're thinking, who would vote him in? Yeah. How did he become Emperor? Yeah. Like, this guy's an evil git, and there's nothing redeemable about him. He's just pure evil. But we get that. We get obviously the politics. We get the manoeuvring in the prequels, and I did like that as well.
Yeah,
and Ian McDermott you've got to give him a lot of credit for pulling that off. It was his performance.
But again, the Emperor, Chief Palpatine's an incredibly complex character who you can go back and fill it in, and it doesn't hurt the character. And the mystery isn't. There's still mysterious elements of that character. He's operating in the shadows.
And you're always, and you're thinking as well at that point in Revenge of the Sith, I just want to see the Jedi's reaction when they realise they've been
played
all this time.
Full of hubris.
I just want to see how silly they're going to look, and they did.
They did.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, some of the Jedi shouldn't have been Jedi, let's be honest. I mean, I could pick a fucking lightsaber up and do better than these fools.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what Mace Windu was thinking, picking those guys to go and take on.
I've said this before. The guy with the head tails.
Yeah.
In the actual
Kit
canon.
Fisto, yeah.
Yeah, Kit Fisto in the canon is actually from a species which has the ability to see into the future.
Yeah.
They've got premonitive.
Maybe he wanted to die.
So you could actually see into the future, and he still couldn't stop himself getting knifed with one fucking dash attack.
Yeah, it was terrible.
He fell like a sack of spuds.
Yeah, it was like a pack of Lurpak left out the fridge for all overnight.
That's the way I like it, don't you? See, when you leave it in the fridge, it's like a fucking brick. It's impossible. You start trying to spread it onto bread and it's just ripping it to pieces. I'm like, just give it the fucking birds. Give it the birds. That's not fucking fit and proper for a human being anymore.
Give it the birds. Butter than bread, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Bridges done a brilliant bit on that. So people leaving it out or leaving it in the fridge, and it's impossible to fuck. I think it says when they moved into a flat for the first time, things you learn.
Yeah.
You can't spread Lurpak fucking bread. There's nothing spreadable about it. But Stephen, no, I don't want to see this. Rocket is a great character, but the mystery that he has in his past is what makes him so endearing. What shaped him into what he is. This fully fledged character who is tough as nails, is a wisecracker, got incredible wit, but it's also got a soft centre.
Yeah.
Got a lot of baggage and emotional turmoil. We've explored it just enough. James Gunn's a master storyteller. He knows how to balance, like Taika Waititi, the sort of sadness and the jokes and the music and everything, and make it an all-encompassing sort of package.
Yeah.
He knows how to get the balance right. We don't have to explore this character further. He's not a Chief Palpatine. I like Bradley Cooper. He's not fucking Ian McDermott, I'm sorry, in terms of...
That's the other big question, John. Do you think they get Bradley Cooper back to voice it? I don't think they would.
I don't know. Well, Stein, I mean, they've kind of set it up, if you remember, in the end credits scene from Guardians 3, but he's now the leader of the Guardians, while Peter Quill's off having his little fucking therapy session with his grandfather.
That kind of raises the question, who did voice the young Rocket in the flashback scenes? Was it Bradley?
I think he just used that voice sort of modulator to make him sound younger.
I thought his voice was kind of irritating at times. It was kind of nervous sounding. I'm like, that's not.
I think he was nervous, to be fair. He was nervous that geezer, the villain.
Yeah. I could not stand him. He was a good villain, don't get me wrong.
See, I was going to speak about that.
I loved the moment where they ripped his face off.
Yeah.
I loved that.
You see what you did to me?
Yeah.
You did it to yourself.
Yeah.
Was that not a line? Star Wars.
He looked like what's he called? The red face Hugo Weaving
Red
character.
Skull.
Yeah, Red Skull. Yeah, he looked a bit like him.
Yeah, which is
Or Robbie Williams in that video, Rock DJ.
I can't remember
He
that
was
video.
skinned. Yeah,
Was he?
yeah. He looked like a skinned character.
I don't remember that. I don't think
Yeah.
I want to remember that.
No, that's terrifying. That is.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Robbie. Robbie's
Yeah.
alright. He's fucking overrated. Overrated. Fucking sand dancer. No talent. I take that back.
He's
got talent.
absolutely morphing into Morrissey.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's
It's
getting fatter.
ridiculous, yeah.
And he's getting greyer.
Just that quiff as well.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sweating here, by
Yeah,
the way.
so am I.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
I can't
actually,
believe it.
it's actually dipping down my back, which is
Actually.
extraordinary.
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 It's like that time we were in Lanzarote.
Can you see the sheen? I was speaking about that today
Because
because we've got the winds of the Sahara dominating just now.
Sirocco winds.
We've actually, I went into my car today and I'm looking at sand from the Sahara Desert on my car in the west of Scotland,
It's crazy.
which is fucking incredible.
Yeah,
When
it's
you
not
think
from
about it.
Trin.
A fucking camel could have walked on that sand and now it's on my car
Yeah.
in Glasgow town.
I'm not as warm as you're describing, John, but my face is very... I feel like Bob Monkhouse. You know that? Very
Bob
shiny.
Monkhouse.
Or Des O'Connor. That's
Yeah,
shiny.
I mean, I've definitely got a shine, but I've always got a shine because I've perpetually got shea butter and shit like that in my face. So
Yeah.
I
Have you ever
always look
seen?
shiny.
Have you ever seen Bob Monkhouse
Wash
eat a
my
Mars bar?
faces. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see the lemon clip?
Yeah, lemon showed it off.
It's crazy.
That's like someone that's got diabetes and trying to go over a hypo.
Yeah. Yes. That's hilarious. Yeah, you get 10
Terrifying.
seconds before I take it off you. Yeah. Well, I've not really got much more to say.
No,
on
I
this.
don't want to see it
I
happen,
don't want to see
Stephen.
it.
There's
no.
no real way where you could, I don't know, present this story and make it work. The characters had his backstory. I suppose if you're continuing with the Guardians into a future movie and he's the leader, which I don't want to see. I want to see Chris Pratt back because he is Guardians of the
Yeah,
Galaxy
he was
for me.
fantastic in that third one, John. He really was. A lot of range of emotions in that character in that third one, obviously with the Gamora stuff going on, and then obviously the rocket situation as well. A well-rounded character, well-written character, and I can't imagine too many people being able to pull that off in a film, you know, like Chris Pratt did.
Oh, but they should
And
have
the three
recast
films,
him, though.
actually.
You know, they should have
Yeah,
recast
crazy.
him according to the fucking freak shows on social media.
Yeah.
Panty waiters because he
Because
doesn't.
of his political...
Yeah, because he's potentially, I don't know if he is, a sort of Republican.
I don't
Don't give a
care.
shit,
yeah, that's-
man.
I take people on face value, and he comes across as a decent guy, you know, and a very,
Let's be
very
perfectly
funny
honest
guy.
here. When we're talking about politics, I'm not American, so I can say it. And I discussed this recently. Donald Trump, an utter fud of a man, tango man as I like to call him, a boring individual.
Yep.
But have we really seen a noticeable change in anything since Joe Biden came into power in the United States? I've not noticed one change.
I don't really focus on it, to be honest
Not,
with you,
not
John.
one change.
Not one. Yeah.
Not one. They're all the fucking same, these political people.
We're going to
And
move
it's the
on.
same here in England. In Britain, the English parliamentary system dominates all the countries. The Tories and Labour.
My daughter was asking
one and the
about
same.
that. She was asking what a Tory was, and I was saying it's short for conservative.
Yeah.
Conservative. And she said they're in power. Yeah, but
Yeah,
we
they're always
didn't
in
vote
power.
for them. I went, yep, exactly. It's Scotland I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I try to explain to her the sort of ins and outs of it, and it was just, you could just see in her face, like, why do we put up with this? You know, it's just, but she'll get there. She'll understand
Well,
one
if
day.
people had followed my lead back in 2014, not that I was a leader, but I mean, I voted yes to independence. That's the point I mean. We wouldn't be here.
No, it'd be interesting to see where we would be, to be fair. You know,
Couldn't be any worse than we are just now, Steve.
couldn't get much worse. Yeah, anyway,
We
it
couldn't.
will get better. It will get better. It can only get better.
But with
Things
Keir
can only
Starmer.
get better. But
Have you
anyway,
seen that guy? He's got all
Yeah.
the charisma of a fucking orange.
Yeah. 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 Anyway,
Wow.
we're going to move on away from politics, and we're going to be talking about our final segment
Keep your
of the
Humza.
show. We're going to be talking about music news, John. And yeah, big Drake fans.
I actually don't mind, right, to be fair. There you go.
I'll put my hands up, John. I don't know anything these guys
You would
have done.
definitely know. You'd definitely know these songs if we come on, Steve.
When I sent these topics over to you, I had to say right away, third one is quite interesting because you must have been
I love The Weeknd as well, by the way.
But you must have been thinking, Stephen sent it over by mistake. What the fuck does he know about? But it's an actual topic.
I've known about The
in.
Weeknd for about fucking 7-8 years now.
John, I'm glad you said it because I was like, how do you even say this name? Is it Weeknd?
Well, he's changed it now. He's actually taken on his actual real name now. His last sort of live show, I think he changed it. He used to say something about I'm the Weeknd. He changed it to his actual real name.
I'm the Weeknd. Woo!
He's brilliant. The Weeknd's great, man. But the same age as me. Fucking brilliant geezer.
Yeah.
Brilliant performer. Does a lot for charity, and he's got this sort of 80s vibe going on with his songs.
Does incredible a lot of work for charity. He doesn't like to talk about it. Pop pickers. Anyway,
you've heard The Weeknd, haven't you? You've heard some of his songs.
Nope.
I can feel my face.
John, I'm nearly 50.
You, but I love it.
I'll be honest with you, I don't
You've
really
never
listen.
heard Save Your Tears for Another Day. Save your tears for another day.
Nope.
Wow. The other one, Blinded by the Lights.
I only know one version of Blinded by the Lights. It wasn't that version.
Oh, The Weeknd's great.
Nah, I'm stuck in the past, John. I'm not going to change now. I like
Drake,
my old
Hotline Bling.
No.
I know when that hotline blinks. I know.
John, I would walk by these two guys in the street and I wouldn't even know who they were. I wouldn't know who they were. I'd say they're dapper guys.
Oh, they are, man. Yeah.
But I don't know who you are.
Drake's Canadian, I think. I think he's from Canada. I know he's a big Raptors fan because they won, I think, the NBA championships a couple of years ago when he was front and centre.
Yeah.
And obviously The Weeknd, I'm not entirely sure where he's from in America, but I know he's American.
It's funny, the person that wrote this article is called Jem Aswad. I remember a band called Aswad from the 1980s. Don't turn around.
What's his name again? The Weeknd. He's got a weird name.
It probably is in there somewhere, John. It probably is in there somewhere. Is that maybe out there if you scroll down? The social media post that was just there? No.
I'll find it.
John, I'm going to just sort of talk about what we're actually going to be talking about because obviously we're talking about these two artists. We're talking about
Able Tesfaye.
We're talking about obviously AI generated Drake and Weeknd song "Heart on My Sleeve" is not eligible for a Grammy. Recording Academy chief clarifies. No, exactly, John. But we've been talking about AI with the Beatles over the past few months and people's confusion with the usage of AI. In terms of the Beatles, it's slightly different because it's removing static from a John Lennon track to clean it up. And that's as far as the AI goes. Everything else is from previous recordings, new recordings. And the only other AI sort of tech they're using is to de-age Paul McCartney's voice. Yeah. And for that, I accept it. It's the best they can do in a sort of bad situation, a sad situation, if you like. But in terms of this, John, this is totally different. This is AI full max, if you like, and the baffling legalities around "Heart on My Sleeve," the song
I've not heard this. I actually want to hear it now.
Generated renditions of vocals by Drake, and The Weeknd continued on Friday as Recording Academy chief Harvey Mason Jr. posted a video insisting that the song is not eligible for a Grammy Award, even though the New York Times reported earlier in the week that he said it is. Mason said in the article, as far as the creative side, "Heart on My Sleeve" is absolutely eligible for a Grammy because it was written by a human. However, a rep for the Recording Academy noted to Variety on Friday that the Times did not misreport anything. Rather, what Mason said next was omitted from multiple articles reporting
so they're telling
the news.
It from a certain point. It was true from a certain point. Yeah, they've cut off
half the conversation here. So he did add that the Academy would also look at whether the song was commercially available, with Grammy rules stating that a track must have general distribution, meaning the broad release of a recording available nationwide via brick and mortar stores, third-party online retailers and or streaming services. Thus, the song is not eligible because it is not commercially available. It was removed from the streaming services after legal action by Universal Music Group, the company that releases Drake and The Weeknd's music. I am sorry, but I have to clear up some of this bad and really inaccurate information that's starting to float around, Mason said in Friday's video. "Heart on My Sleeve" is not eligible for Grammy consideration. Let me be extra clear. Even though it was written by a human creator, the vocals were not legally obtained. The vocals were not cleared by the label or the artist, and the song is not commercially available, and because of that, it's not eligible. John, this is, I mean,
it's the most common sense thing ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's opening a can of worms, and this is the worry between AI and chat GPT, etc., is that it's taking that human element out of it, and they have to, it's at some point there's going to be blurring of the lines in terms of things coming out and how they're distributed. At the moment, they're saying it's not because of obviously the way this song's been distributed and not getting the permission, obviously, of the record labels, ownership over the vocals. Yeah, exactly. But at some point, somewhere down the line, AI will be used and all these things will tick the boxes. And then does it become eligible for a Grammy? You know, something that's, the words are written by a human, but the actual song, the actual vocals, what you're hearing is what counts in my book. Because you could actually just do that with any old words, couldn't you? And just sort of add the voice and
well, this is interesting what he's saying here. This Mason guy, he further says to Variety, what we intended to say was that material using AI can be submitted, but the human portion of the composition or the performance is the only portion that can be awarded or considered for a Grammy Award. So if an AI modelling system or app built a track, wrote lyrics and a melody, that would not be eligible for a composition. But if a human writes a track and AI is used to voice model or create a new voice or use somebody else's voice, the performance would not be eligible, but the writing of a track and the lyric on
the writing, because that's human. Yeah,
that is the sort of that's the meat and bones of the actual creation, the actual writing. But Stephen, it's not a direction I want to see us going down, because the actual performance is a huge part of it as well. You can see the writing, and it is there. Bob Dylan's won a Nobel Peace Prize, or a Nobel Prize, not a Peace Prize. He's won a Nobel Prize for literature because of his writing ability. So it's so important, the writing. But then the performance as well. You lose the human touch. An AI can't sing like Adele sang at the fucking Brits or whatever it was 10 years ago, and she was breaking down crying during the performance. They can't sing like Macca and Lennon sung back in the day. Can't sing like Roy Orbison. Can't sing like Michael Jackson. I was listening to Say 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 the other day. What a fucking song, man.
You also get the sort of collaboration.
Can't sing like fucking The Weeknd.
Yeah, but if you think about collaborators like is it Bernie Taupin and Elton John, where Bernie I'm sure that's his name, isn't it? He writes the lyrics.
Yeah.
And Elton will add the music to the lyrics and sing those lyrics.
Yeah.
In those instances, those guys work very close together over nearly 6 decades. They know each other.
Is that the Scottish guy?
I don't know. You might have to. Am I making a buzz up here? That's a Scottish saying, by the way. Bernie Taupin. I'm sure that's his name. But in terms of that, there's something very unique and something special about. You mentioned Dylan, John.
Yeah.
You mentioned Dylan and the fact that when you're sitting listening to him, whether it be live or a recording, those words came from his head. He's singing them, and that's what makes it special. In terms of the likes of Elton John and Bernie Taupin, it's still similar because the two of them are collaborating together. And obviously the ultimate one is Lennon McCartney, in our opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, that they knew each other well enough. They knew how to write songs with meaning. They knew how to write songs with heart, and that's a big part of music. It's a big part of music for most of us.
And you referenced it earlier, Stephen, it couldn't get much worse. That's an example of that collaboration.
Yeah.
Macca brings a song, it's getting better all the time. Lennon chips in with it couldn't get much worse. That's a spontaneous human moment. AI will never, maybe at some point it will, when it reaches general intelligence level.
John, we've watched.
We're nowhere near that just now, I hope.
We've listened.
I was
going to say we've watched, it's listening because it's music. We've listened to a lot of AI Beatles stuff, and none of it connects with us, because I don't know about you, John, but when I'm listening to a song by the Beatles, for instance, I'm thinking, I wonder what they were doing that day. I wonder how, what take this is from, and what were they thinking, what were they feeling when they were doing that. But just hearing Macca's voice and that little bit breaking, what was he thinking at that moment? These things are all missed in AI. There's no emotion in them, as well as they can replicate, the human voice. It's almost like the uncanny valley, they call it. Humans cannot get past that in visuals, and they'll certainly not get past it in sound either.
Well, Stephen, you reference the Weeknd in this topic. He's another prime example. This guy's singing about relationship issues, going through breakups, having to see the person, how that's impacting on him. He's wrote the song, but he's also lived the experience, and he's then imparting that in the performance. An AI can't live that experience because it's unable to connect with other living beings and have those thoughts, feelings, emotions. It therefore can't mine off of that as an experience and deliver that as an emotion in the performance. The Weeknd has lived that experience. It's real to him in his life, and that's what makes the likes of the Beatles, Oasis, bands like that, Blur, R.E.M., all the, I think, are strange currencies. You can feel that. I don't know what the fuck that song's about, but you can hear it in his voice when he's singing it. It means something to him.
Yeah.
AI will never be able to replicate that.
I don't know about you, but when I listen to She's Leaving Home, there's something really emotional about that.
Yeah.
I mean, see, by the you try and sing along with it, you start getting choked up because it's like
he's telling a story, and it's a human story.
And it happens. What happens in that song happens in real life as well.
And it's based off a real story.
Yeah, it's incredible. And harmonies as well, John.
And that's why I'll never get the criticism of Paul McCartney, even from his own band members, his own. Yeah. It's getting late, it's warm, and I've had a couple of beers. And I've also got meat sweats as well, because I ate a fucking huge ribeye steak, barbecued, and it was tremendous. And also a butcher's sort of marinated burger.
I had a salad.
And 2 brioche buns. Yeah. So I had a salad as well, but I had chips with it and whatnot, and ribeye steak with peppercorn sauce and a brioche bun. Yeah. What is it? Exactly what it was, Stephen? Lettuce, tomatoes, a bit of cucumber, a little bit of spring onion in there, some chips, and just meat. You need meat. I'm sorry. Come at me, vegans. I don't give a fuck. You need it, man. You need to. I mean, I could go pescatarian. I could become a fish eater because I love fish. I'm not becoming a fish eater. I eat fish. I eat tuna. I eat haddock. I eat a lot. But you need to have some form of meat in your diet. You just do. And I think there's been studies done. And look, I know Lewis Hamilton. I'm going back to him again. He's a vegan. There's loads of other people vegans. Your man, the actor, played fucking Crossbones or whatever his name was. Was it Crossbones? But the guy fucking was in Winter Soldier, Civil War, played the villain, get blown up with a grenade. Yeah. Was it Crossbones? I can't remember. Something like that anyway.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I think it was it? Yeah, I think it was.
Blanking in his name.
You're talking about the actor's name?
Yeah, the actor. He's a vegan.
Is it the one that plays Rumlow?
Rumlow, yeah. Brock Rumlow. Is that his name?
Yeah. Jesus. I can't remember.
He's a vegan, but the point I'm making, you can do it, but I think there's been studies. I don't know why I'm even talking about this. Meat sweats, tripping. I personally think you need meat in your diet. Where was I even going with this? Criticised by his own band members, Paul McCartney. I think the criticism's harsh because even though he is telling stories,
Frank Grillo,
he's telling these stories in the songs, and they may not be sort of like stories that resonate closely to his personal experiences in life. The guy is clearly get a huge amount of, and there's again, I'm going to blank in this word. He can connect closely with other human stories. I can't think of the word that begins with an E. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. It's a very simple word. And he can tell those stories through his songs. Yeah. And there is an emotional impact, even though it's not something James Paul McCartney's lived. He's telling the story of something that he's heard about. And he's adapting it to his song, and it packs a fucking punch.
He's a people watcher, yeah. I think in terms of that, Ray Davies was the same. Ray Davies was exactly the same when he was writing the likes of Waterloo Sunset. He liked to go and watch people. It was the best songs he wrote was about characters, about situations, relationships, people. Not necessarily about him, but just as an observer.
Who can relate to others, not who can't. What is it called?
Empathy.
He's an empathetic person. Yeah. It's funny that, isn't it, how words just leave your brain at times. And it doesn't matter how much you try.
Happens to me a lot.
They will not come back until you have to search. Robbie Savage's name left my head at one point. He was on fucking VT Soccer, whatever it was. And I'm like, I was thinking about him. I was thinking about Jack Grealish because of the hair. And some other little geezer that plays for Aston Villa or something. And I'm like, his fucking name just left my head. I'm like, I know this guy. I grew up watching this guy playing football, and I cannot think of his name. Robbie fucking Savage.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it just escapes. I don't know if it's anything to do with live broadcasting or whatever.
No, Stephen, I was lying in the couch watching the TV.
Yeah.
was like 31 at the time.
I think it happens more though when you're sort of put in the spot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I was trying to think of
I think it
the other
happens
day
more
when I was in a meeting, and I was like, I can't even remember, and I'm trying to bring things up and all that, and I'm like, and then I'm just try to delay things. And it was just, it was crazy. And I was like, I got the word afterwards.
And I was like, names as well.
Too late.
Tom Hanks is one I forgot at one point as well. How the fuck do you forget Tom Hanks?
The word was conversion. And I just could not.
I get it all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. I'm like, what's that fucking word? And I'm the type of person that can't let it lie. I don't let it slide. So I will haunt myself until I get it. And I will just keep going over and over, and then I'm like, fuck you, I got it. Fuck off. Now, this is me at 34. Imagine me in 30 years.
Just keep doing this and you'll be okay. Wow. You'll be okay. Keep yourself active.
I'm praying for a cure for Alzheimer's or dementia, because I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
I can tell you right now, I'm going to need it. It's coming.
You start talking about the leaves, John.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's coming all the way, Stephen. It's all this shit we're putting in our bodies now. There's a reason why you think of people with great longevity in terms of mental acuity. I think off the top of my head, lots of like 90-year-old Jewish lawyers who are as sharp as anything and just no signs of mental deterioration. Clearly the diet they're eating. Clearly they're not putting all these artificial EE numbers and shit in their bodies and aspartame. They're eating clean. I think of the Buddhas and whatnot, the Taoist monks, people from the Far East, old fucking raggedy arse Japanese, Chinese people, sharp as anything, not lost any mental acuity. They're not eating McDonald's, man. They're not eating quarter pounders. They're not having fucking mozzarella balls. They're not eating fucking chicken nugget share boxes every week, twice a week. They're in good shape and they're eating well and they don't lose their marbles at the end. I need to stop eating this shit. But then I say that, I did watch a short yesterday and they were comparing Five Guy fries to McDonald's, and I'm like, I have to go and get Cajun Five Guy fries now because they're cheaper, and my fucking God, they're about 5 times heavier. Yeah. They give you 5 times more fries.
A lot of chips. Yeah.
It's been too long since I've been to Five Guys, so I've just completely contradicted my whole argument. I'm going to go and get a Five Guys.
I love the way they wrap the burger in like a foil. Yeah,
it's just moist maker.
Yeah, that's
moist maker. Five Guys is tremendous.
I'm done, John.
I'm done as well. Yeah. I'm sweating like an absolute rapist on speed, as I like to say. I don't actually know the context of that saying, but it works for me. The person's a rapist, so they're a sweaty bastard anyway. Shifty sex offender, but they're also on speed, so that amplifies the sweating.
Just say, an actor in a droid suit and.
That's too convoluted though. Rapist on speed just rings off the tongue beautifully. So that's a phrase that comes from Scotland.
Yeah. Kevin's phrase was sweating like Kenny Baker in Tunisia.
Yeah, that's a great one. To be fair, that rings off the tongue as well. Kenny Baker in Tunisia. And did the man get any credit for it? No, he got treated like shit by a skinny dweeb who was also in a fucking suit and thought he was an actor. And has basically based his entire existence thereafter, the last 40, 50 years, on playing a fucking droid and being in a suit in Tunisia. You're an actor, sure you are, Tony. We believe you, mate. Sure you are.
Yeah, big shiny gold actor.
Talking like this.
Chase me out.
The odds of this happening are 150 million and fuck up. Plug the presser into the back. Wonderful. Fucking shit. But I digress. What's your thoughts on Kangana Ranaut? How do you say that? She's not French.
Ranaut.
Yeah, it's going to be Ranaut. I always want to go French when I see those combinations of vowels and whatnot, consonants. She says that SRK is a cinema god here to save the day. He's a cinema god that India needs. Do you agree with her? Have you seen Jawan? Share your thoughts down below about both those things in the comment section. What is your thoughts on a potential Rocket Raccoon backstory? You want to see that happening? Do we need a Rocket Raccoon story? The continuing adventures of a Rocket Raccoon. Share your thoughts down below about that. I'm just going to keep burping at the end because I've had 2 beers and the gas, and I've had a protein shake before it. What a concoction. Chocolate protein shake and 2 beers. Why do I do it to myself? Share your thoughts down below about that. Thoughts about AI, the Weeknd Drake song. I can't even remember the name of the song now, but that's been disqualified from the Grammys because Universal have taking the creator to task. Features human writing, but they did not get the approval from the music studio, from the actual artist to use their vocals in AI form. What's your thoughts on AI infiltrating music? Should it be allowed to be nominated for these big award shows? Anything you feel compelled to share can go down below in the comment section. That's the place to put your thoughts. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon to get notifications straight to your eyeballs, follow button, notifications button over on Twitch. Like the episode, follow us on Spotify podcasts as well to hear it in audio form. All that's left to be said is thank you once again for watching us, and until the next time, me and Stephen are done.